Hello. I enjoyed listening to your discussion. You did very well in explaining what you needed to say. I also would like to apologize for you being in your current worst job, and I do hope future success upon you. In that vein, as someone who has a hard time understanding a bad job and just enjoys and loves working regardless of what I'm doing, being stagnant or upward progression, which you enjoy, I'm very curious why, if are you staying at that job because you need to? You don't have to answer that, of course, but I feel there are several factors in why you stay at your worst job. Leading into the next part, you always mentioned you can always get an education, which you are doing, and there will always be other things. Is it a obligation or contractual? And what would you say to other people who are stuck in their worst jobs? Is it a thing where a more psychological thing where you feel the need to be there or not? I'm just curious. Also, leading into something you mentioned, you said anyone can go get an education at any time. While that is a nice sentiment, I'm not necessarily sure that's true due to costs and other things. And how would you handle someone who wants to go to and get a higher education but is unable to due to any sort of financial or life difficulties? Schools now are very different. It's expensive, for one, just like everything. And then sometimes you are required to have access to the internet, which again, you can do that, but some people don't have the ability to do that. Jobs are not necessarily, jobs and education are not necessarily always something you can do. Sometimes it is a lot harder to do. Now, I do believe you can always get at least a job, but a better job is not always possible unless you really, really work for it, which you did mention if you're motivated enough. But picking up and starting a job is not that easy. And the last thing I was hoping to touch on was you mentioning when it came to the. Sorry, I worked a long work shift. When it came to your faith playing a role in it, I'm curious because you mentioned your faith brings a lot of attention to all of your things. How would you handle someone who comes to you, enjoys their job, but is having. They don't even have to enjoy the job. They're just having difficulty with their faith in the job. I understand we have religious freedoms and whatnot, but some jobs might have them doing things that they're not wholly okay with. I doubt they would be so obtuse as to be unable to do that specific duty, but how would you handle religious difficulties within someone's job?